Hello, I'm First Officer Jim Watkins, Vice Chairman of the FedEx ALPA Pilot-to-Pilot Committee. With me today is Captain Pat May, Chairman of our Negotiating Committee. Pat, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Jim.
When did you become the Negotiating Chairman?
At the last February MEC meeting, I was appointed the new Negotiating Committee Chairman at that point.
And how did that process work?
Well, once they determined there was going to be a vacancy in the Negotiation Committee, they had requested resumes from interested pilots. I submitted a resume. I was asked to come in and interview in front of the MEC and the officers, and there was a series of Q&A and just discussion items during that process.
How does the Negotiating Chairman position differ from the other committee chairman positions?
Well, it's unique, Jim, in that the FedEx ALPA policy manual stipulates that the Negotiating Committee actually is appointed by and works for the MEC directly, whereas the other committees of the ALPA FedEx MEC are selected and appointed by the MEC chairman. Ultimately, the MEC approves all of those via resolution, but there's a clear and distinct difference between the committees.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background here at FedEx?
Sure, Jim. I came from Southwest Airlines. I was over there just for a brief stint, about 6 months. But prior to that, I had an Air Force background. I got here in 1999. I lived and was based out of Memphis for about 9 years, and then I became a commuter. Moved over to Cologne in 2011, flew 757s, came back to Indianapolis as a 767 captain.
What previous union experience do you have?
In 2004, I was asked to be a member on the membership committee, briefed new hires in the INDOC, and then after that, I became the membership committee chairman. I did that job from about 2005 to 2009. After that, I became a commuter and resigned that position and didn't get back into ALPA work until 2011 when I moved over to Cologne and became the block rep over there. And of course, that's also the MEC rep position.
And you also worked in the NST.
I did. After I moved back to the U.S., Chuck Dyer had called and asked if I would replace him in the position that he was leaving. He was going to become the new MEC chairman. So I picked up the position as Negotiating Support Team Chairman, and I coordinated the activities of P2P, family awareness, communications, and legislative affairs.
Pat, who are the other members of the Negotiating Committee?
Mike Westcalnes and Jim Plover.
Could you tell us a little bit about them, please?
Sure. Mike is an Airbus captain. He's been a previous R&I chairman and has negotiating experience. Mike's also a private ERISA attorney. Jim came to FedEx in 2001. He's currently a 767 first officer. Jim also has union experience. He worked a little bit on the FOCA, and he's also done financial review.
Pat, we've recently concluded a lengthy negotiation process. We have a contract. Why do we need a negotiating committee?
Good question, Jim. And I just want to mention one thing, not to change the subject, but I want to thank the previous negotiating committee for their hard work and the thankless job that they did over the past few years. Presently, though, we have to maintain cooperation with the company when we move into the next implementation phase. Each phase has its own dates, its own target dates and deadline dates. Currently, as you know, we're in phase 3. So we work closely with the company to make sure that they are actually complying with their end of the contract and completing each section as we go along. Along with that, we potentially could be into development of any MOUs or LOAs along the way.
Are we currently working any MOUs or LOAs at this time?
Well, right now, Jim, we just met with the company recently this past Monday in the FDA ongoing implementation, and that's to clean up some language that exists out in the foreign domiciles.
Are we currently involved in any retirement negotiations?
We're not involved in any retirement negotiations at this point, Jim. We're simply receiving data from the company on the financial status of the current A plan.
Pat, do you have any final words for us today?
I do, Jim. I think it's important to understand that the negotiating committee realizes that the large minority of pilots were not in favor of ratification of this contract. But it's more important, as we look forward and move on, to understand that this negotiating committee represents 100% of the pilots on every issue moving forward.
Thank you, Pat, for joining us today. And thank you for watching our video. For more information, visit fdx.alpa.org or contact your block rep. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.